Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Molly Hendrickson with an update from Denver 7. If you've been to the airport recently, you know there's construction everywhere. But this morning, the clash continues between DIA and the contracting company working on the airport's major renovation. The airport claims the contractor, quote, purposely and knowingly interfered with airport activities. Denver 7's Micah Smith explains the airport's claims and what they mean for completion of the project.
DIA claims the contractor for this project, Great Hall Partners, quote, purposefully and knowingly interfered with airport activities. Great Hall Partners is responding, saying that those claims are baseless. In the meantime, construction continues and we still aren't clear on when exactly this project will be complete. Right now, Denver International Airport officials and Great Hall Partners are in mediation trying to resolve several issues. Our news partners at the Denver Post reported that DIA claims the contractor is intentionally causing delays. And on top of that, the airport has issued 19 changes officials want made to the original plan. Great Hall Contractors has issued their own grievances, saying they need more time and money to make the changes the airport is asking for. After the airport sent Great Hall Partners 2 letters saying the contractor was interfering with day-to-day operations, Great Hall Partners is responding. They sent us a statement which reads, in part, we completely disagree with the baseless allegations contained in the letters sent last week by the airport. We view the timing of these letters as a transparent attempt to distract from the serious concerns that are impacting the project. DIA and Great Hall Partners will not talk about the latest projection completion date given their conflicts, but passengers will continue to deal with construction here at the airport for quite some time. Reporting from DIA, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
Capital One is the latest credit card and financial company to be hit by a big data breach. You'll want to be on the lookout for emails from them to find out if you're one of the more 100 million customers impacted. So here's what you need to know today. Customer credit scores, credit limits, balances, payment history, and contact information were all compromised. No credit card numbers or logins were released, but about 140,000 Social Security numbers and 80,000 bank account numbers were compromised. A Seattle software engineer has been arrested in connection with that breach. She could face 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
Today, we could learn the names of the 2 American soldiers killed in what's being called an insider attack in Afghanistan. The Army is waiting to release details on the attack so they can notify the families of the soldiers. Their deaths bring the number of American troops killed this year in Afghanistan to 14.
The investigation into the number of Metro State employees diagnosed with cancer is growing. Last week, we told you 3 people at the university were diagnosed just within a few months of each other, and a 4th employee lost their battle with cancer a few years ago. Well, now we've learned there could be 10 additional cases, all people who worked in the same building on campus. A retired education professor worked in that building and has kept track of her colleagues diagnosed with cancer in recent years.
In their office had referred to our office as Cancer Corner because of the number of incidences of cancer. Out of 14 people, we had 10 different people diagnosed with a variety of cancers.
Metro State University, meanwhile, says an independent contractor is doing an environmental assessment, and those results are expected in 2 weeks. Tonight, the next round of Democratic presidential debates begins. Once again, the group of 20 will be split into 2 nights. Former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper will debate tonight with Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet will be on stage tomorrow night with former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris. Experts say being moderate has actually made their campaigns harder.
Middle is not where the noise is. That isn't where the fundraising dollars typically are. You need to ignite something special to make that going. And particularly when Vice President Biden is occupying a lot of that space, it's just hard for others to make a mark.
ABC's Rick Klein says while Hickenlooper and Bennett are on the stage this week, he does not expect them to make the cut for the September debates.
A Colorado teen is explaining why he got so close to a herd of bison and ended up being gored and thrown 6 feet into the air. These pictures show the bison herd fighting at Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota. On Saturday, the teen says he walked on a trail in between 2 fighting bison because he thought the coast was clear.
There was another group of hikers that had just gone past him. I didn't feel unsafe at any point while I was around him, and then all of a sudden he just came and charged at me.
That teen has asked for privacy, so we're not identifying him. He says he landed on his back on his backpack after being launched into the air, something he says likely saved him from serious injury.
Denver police say right now they're focusing on education over enforcement when it comes to people illegally riding scooters around the 16th Street Mall. Since scooters are still in the pilot phase, police say they haven't started issuing citations yet, but people along the mall say something needs to be done.
Needs to be some people to look out. They need rear view mirrors. People are going by the thing and they walk in front of them. I've seen a couple of people get run over.
Denver Public Works also wants to hear from you. They're taking public comments before putting out permanent rules in September.
A difference in perspective is pitting the city of Denver against homeless advocates. It surrounds cleanup at Lawson Park in the Five Points neighborhood. The city closed the park near Welton and Park Avenue, claiming it needs to restore dying grass. But the park is used by people who are homeless, and advocates say the grass is just an excuse for the city to kick them out.
The users of the park grew up in this neighborhood, and this is one of the places where the neighborhood community gathers and has for decades and decades and decades.
Parks and Rec says weather will determine just how long the park needs to be closed. Right now, they're saying it could take about 12 weeks.
If you have trouble breathing sometimes, you may not have had as much fun outside this summer. Concern about the health of Denver's air is now prompting more action from the state. Denver 7's Nicole Brady explains.
There are two big developments to report on two major polluters in our state, the oil and gas industry and the vehicles we drive every day. Yesterday, CDOT, along with the Colorado Energy Office and two automaker groups, agreed to a proposal that could put more electric vehicles on the roads in Colorado as soon as next year. Under the plan, automakers would be given incentives to increase the number of electric cars they produce. This is part of an effort to bring zero emissions vehicle standards to Colorado. Our state actually wants to adopt California's standards, which are the strictest in the country. The Colorado Automobile Dealers Association has fought against these efforts, saying they will just make cars more expensive in Colorado. The state, meanwhile, says the biggest contributor to ozone pollution is the oil and gas industry. And yesterday, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment proposed some new rules that will require the industry to do more monitoring and do more to reduce pollution. Those rules will be voted on later this year. Now, if you want to escape pollution, it's always best to get out earlier in the morning. Fortunately, today is not an ozone action day in Denver. Nicole Brady, Denver 7.
For your forecast, here's meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo.
It is a really pretty start right now. You can see here from City Park, we've got a little bit of cloud cover this morning. Gorgeous, though. 60s in the morning, but it's going to be another very big warm up today. By about 10 o'clock, we'll be in the mid to upper 80s with a few building clouds on the western slope and up and through the mountains. And then we'll see a few more clouds here across the plains this afternoon, but it's still hot. By about 3:30, we're going to be near 95 in Denver. Some triple-digit heat down near Pueblo, Lamar, La Junta, and 70s and 80s in the mountains. It'll be by mid-afternoon that a few storms and showers develop. We have a slight chance of seeing one or two rolling through the metro area later this afternoon through the early evening, but the risk of severe weather today is going to be a lot lower than what we saw yesterday. So with some of these storms, some lightning, hail, small hail, and potentially some gusty winds. Mid-80s by 6:30. Then skies clear overnight. Tomorrow morning it's beautiful again, 60s to 70s near about 7 o'clock, and then a better chance for a few late-day thunderstorms. We'll see highs tomorrow still in the low to mid-90s, but a few more storms are possible here tomorrow afternoon. So 95 this afternoon with that chance for a few storms. Again, the risk of severe weather today is going to be well off to the north of our state. We've got just a small pocket up and through parts of Wyoming and up into Montana. Here in town tomorrow, again, a few more storms possible, and we do have a Rockies game tomorrow afternoon. First pitch is at 1:10. It's going to be one of the hottest games this week, that day game, 93 by the end of it, with a chance for a few late day thunderstorms. Now, when it comes to the chance of rain, we have a much better shot at it come Thursday and Friday. Storms are likely to end the week, but it also gets a little cooler here on the Super 7 day with some mid to upper 80s, you guys, as we get in through the first couple of days of August.
That will feel nice. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for watching this Denver 7 Now update.
Make sure you check back here later today for another update and download the free Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. Have a great day.